This is Street Knowledge Soldiers presents Redemption. And I'm Bugsy Siegel. And I'm here with part 1 to Dead Man Walking. Today, I have with me Ryan Michael Marshall, CDCR number D30303. And on May 20th, 1986, Ryan Michael Marshall spent his first night on death row, Carson Section, San Quentin State Prison. Upon his arrival, he meets Charlie Manson, who gives him an origami crane. At 20 years of age, sentenced to death. His neighbor, Tookie Williams, soft-spoken. He's even met Tookie's wife inside the visiting room. Here today, he has spent 39 years incarcerated come this January. He was commuted to Elwha on 12/13/13 by the 9th Circuit Court of Appeals. And today is 9/5/2023. And you are alive and not living on death row anymore, Ryan Michael Marshall.
Amen.
And I'd like to welcome you to Street Knowledge Soldiers Presents Redemption. And I'm going to open the floor, brother, with this simple question of, with your journey and what's transpired, what does remorse mean to you, Ryan?
Well, yeah, we talked about this before, but basically, I have to live with the specter of the fact that I killed somebody. And that's a weight that I have to carry every waking moment of my life, and have carried for almost 40 years. And for me, I can't go back and change what happened. So the only thing that I can do is try to be the best version of me that I can be each and every day. And to try to advance myself in terms of my education, in terms of my insight, understanding of who I am and who I was, and aim towards being the best version of myself that I can be. You know, for me, remorse is an action, not a static state. It's me honoring the life that I took in the only way that I can by not creating more victims. And by trying to be a positive influence in other people's lives rather than a negative one. That's what remorse looks like for me.
So you say the best version of Ryan Michael Marshall. And by your definition, what is the best version of Ryan Michael Marshall?
Well, I'm still a work in progress. I think basically we all are, right? But for me, what that looks like is I'm the guy that doesn't victimize people anymore. I'm the guy that's gotten an education in prison, you know, that's gotten that college degree, that wants to get his master's degree so that I can turn around and teach and come back into these prisons as a professor with a college and help lift up the next group of people. You know, that's what the best version of me looks like, ultimately. At least that's what I hope.
Amen to that, brother. I sat here before we actually got on the air and I expressed to you, I've been here 23 years and I got brought up for torture murder, which gave a special circumstance. And I got acquitted from that. And based on that, by the grace of God, I didn't go there to meet you. In God's plan, He's allowed me to meet you here on a level 2 yard. So you coming from death row all the way down to level 2, and me coming from the shoes to the level 4s to the 180, 273 yard all the way down. And it's almost shell-shocking. And also by the way of being surrounded with a lot of non-violent offenders and guys that are just passing through.
Right.
I don't think they realize the impact of crime. They don't understand causative factors and underlying issues and childhood traumas and all the things that we go dig down deep to really get an answer, not only for the community and for the people that put us under a microscope, but also for ourselves, so we can then really define who we are. Like you said, you're finding the best version of yourself, and so am I. And that's why I wanted to capture this, brother, because after 39 years and coming from a place so dark, so dreaded, you sat here and told me that you have been there for every execution in the modern era.
That's true.
All the way down to Tookie Williams.
Yeah.
Right before Michael Morales got a stay. Can you please repeat to me before we're on the air what you told me about what it did to you when Tookie Williams got executed?
Well, it wasn't just me. It was pretty much everybody on the row. You know, you have to understand, if you look at Tookie, he did everything in the world that he could to reform himself, to be the better version of who he was. He wrote children's books, he did all these amazing things, and he still got executed. The day after, everybody up there felt like if they're going to execute a guy that's done all that, then what chance does anybody else here have? You know? I mean, it's not that, you know, I didn't go to college on the road, because I did. It's not that I didn't try in my own little ways to be a positive influence in other people's lives, but this guy actually achieved a lot, and they still executed him. And that made really everybody up there feel like, man, if they executed Tookie, none of us have a chance.
But by that same grace that I was talking about that saved me and saved you, and the Ninth Circuit allowed you now to walk the regular yards with the rest of us.
Yeah.
With this remorse that you're putting into action is why I even pulled you over and asked you for the interview, because I see it with your higher education, your higher power practices, because you do practice Muslim and you pray constantly throughout the day. I myself don't see any risk of danger in you, but we have such a hurdle to overcome with the fabric that's already embedded into our storyline, like you said.
Well, but see, here's the thing, is I'm not worried about that.
Tell me about that.
I'm not worried, because whether I get out of prison or not does not control whether or not I can be the best version of me.
Amen.
Right?
Yes.
And the measure of a person's character is not in what happens, it's how you choose to respond to it. And I can respond in a positive way inside the fence, outside the fence. It doesn't matter. I am free already. Now my physical liberty has been taken from me, but on a spiritual level, who I am as a human being is already free. I don't hurt people. I try to help people when I can. You know, I don't associate with people that are in that criminal life, that do drugs, those things that are negative and are going to lead you down that dark path. I'm not part of that world. I walk in light, even in the darkest places. I told you before that there's a line from a poem that I carry with me, right? The two men looked out through prison bars. One looked down and saw the mud. The other one looked up and saw the stars. Life is about perspective, brother. It's about how you choose to see and perceive and respond to your environment. And that's true no matter where you are. In prison, out of prison. Whether you're rich or poor, whether you're an American or you live in Thailand or Nigeria, it doesn't matter. It's a human condition. And we make those choices, all of us, every day. So I understand what you're saying, because I hear people talking about, you know, being worried about going to the board. I'm not worried about going to the board, because the board can only govern my physical liberty. They do not govern whether or not I am a good person. I do that. I govern that. I make those choices.
Amen, Ryan. And tonight, when I say goodnight to my wife, before they cut him off at 8:45, I will look out of my cell window through the bars and look up to the stars. I choose not to look down at the mud. I really like that, Ryan. I've shared with you that I seek you out based on your trial and tribulation and all of the uphill climb that you've done to
share something with you.
Yes, absolutely, Ryan.
So, as a kid, I was taught about the crucible of fire, right?
Okay.
It's the riddle of steel, right? But steel, through a crucible of fire, it burns away all the impurities and leaves a pure result, right? Well, life is a crucible, right? And it will either consume you or it will burn away the impurities and leave the pure product, right? Adversity is the fire that tempers men's souls or breaks them. And it's a choice in the end, whether we rise to be the purer product or we become brittle and break.
I really like that a lot, Ryan. How old are you here today?
I am 57 years old. I will be 58 on March 11th next year.
So you basically raised yourself inside these walls as well?
In a lot of ways. Although, I'm not going to lie, I had a lot of help. I did. You know, my mother still is, you know, out there supporting me, you know, in every way that she can. She's the only member of my family that I have left. My father died on January 2nd, 2019. He's buried in the military cemetery in Fayetteville, Arkansas. And I hadn't spoken to him since 1984.
It's a long time, right?
Yeah, it was. And there are reasons for that. We were estranged. And it's unfortunate that we never got to reconcile. But that's okay, too. Because understand that even in the difficulties, there are blessings. Right? And so I accept what is, because it was part of the path that I had to walk. Because of the choices that I made when I was young, and that other people made when I was really young. And I could not be the person that I am now had I not walked through that crucible. So I'm okay with it, because the product that has resulted is a better man. And that's a good thing.
Well, I'm honored to call you friend, Ryan, and I know this Ryan. I don't know the Ryan that stepped in 1986. So you brought up the word help, and you got a lot of help. And this interview is probably coming close to its end because we only get the 15-minute allowance. But I hope that our listeners listening to this story of a man who was labeled a dead man walking, who got the grace of God and got saved and got commuted, and you're liable to get a board date and go home. So for anybody going through anything that's hard, that keeps you up late at night, that keeps your emotions in a stir, ask for help, get help before you hurt anybody or hurt yourself. And we will continue with this Dead Man Walking Part 2. Please stay tuned. And from Street Knowledge Soldiers, we present redemption. Amen.
Amen.